Ollie, didn't you see that sign?
I can't even see out this windshield.
Would these help?
Of course they would.
How's that, Ollie?
Much better. Now I can see the ski slope. Ski slope! Oh! Oh no! Oh!
Ollie, I didn't know you could slalom.
Gee, Ollie, this windshield's so messy, I can't see. We need new wiper blades.
I know that.
Ollie, without new Anco wipers, we could have been hit by that piano.
Oh. Piano? Oh!
Mr. Jim MacGeorge.
I was in Seattle recently, and I went by Alaska Airlines. A lady got on board, and she got a nice window seat, relaxed. The man walked up there and said, "You're sitting in my seat." She said, no, I was here first. You're going to have to find another seat. He said, "Okay, you fly the plane." But life is tough. It's difficult. I said to my lady friend this morning, I said, I may not have all the money in the world like Bill Gates, and I may not be able to buy you diamonds and jewelry like Bill Gates, but I love you. She said, "That's fine. But tell me a little more about this Bill Gates." And the couple next door, they had a little argument. She went on a cruise by herself. She met the captain, had dinner in his quarters, and after dinner he pointed to the bedroom. She said, no, I'm married. He said, "It's either that or I sink the ship and everyone will drown." So I got home from the cruise. He said, "How'd it go?" She said, "You won't believe this, but I saved 2,114 lives." He said, "Really?" "Yeah, twice." The movie played. I'll see you in the morning sun, and when the night is blue, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. You know, ladies and gentlemen, you get a little love and a few laughs every day, and you're way ahead of the world. Have a wonderful holiday season. I had some hired help, and there was the Department of Governmental Offices in Santa Barbara sent an agent over to talk to me because he felt I wasn't paying the help enough money. He said, "All I want to know is how many people you're hiring, what do you pay them?" I said, "I have a farm hand, I pay him $200 a month, room and board." Then there's a mentally challenged one, and he does 85% of the work. He works about 16 hours a day. I give him $20, buy him a fifth of bourbon on Saturday nights, and occasionally he gets to sleep with my wife. He said, "That's the one I want to talk to. The mentally challenged one. That's the one I want." I said, "You're talking to him." Walter Brennan and Gabby Hayes are having trouble up here at number 17. Now, I saw you, son. You kicked the ball out in the fairway with your foot. I saw you do it. You kicked it right out in the fairway. Oh, you little darn fool. I never kicked no ball out in the right on. When he kicked it, it ain't gonna work in anyway. Why, I saw you. You were there. Tell him, Dyke. The name is Duke, Dyke. George C. Scott just passed me going in the clubhouse. Do you read him over there? Yeah, Scott's going in to give a pep talk to his foursome as he does every year. He's carrying a pearl-handled putter. I don't think all of his irons are in the bag. Let's move in a little tighter. Now, nobody ever won a damn golf tournament by three-putting. But the other dumb bastard three-putt. We're going out there and win this tournament. We're going to grab that course by the short grass. We're going to kick hell out of it. Now, you great men will be so concentrated on winning today, you won't even notice the lovely ladies in the gallery with the loose-fitting blouses, with the miniskirts, with the long tan legs, with the wind blowing through the hair. What the hell was I talking about? You? Well, I remember the golf balls in the pro shop are 39 cents a piece. The rooms in the hotel are $400 a day. And if there's anything I can't stand, is when they get you by the rooms. Little humor for you great men. As the captain of the Hindenburg said, is it hot in here, or is it just me? As Orville said to Wilbur, you're only in the air for 15 seconds. How could your luggage go to Seattle? As a cruise director said on Noah's Ark, I can't work here. These people are animals. As Mrs. Paul Revere said, I don't care who's coming, I need the horse. As Jimmy Swagger said, you can fool all the people some of the time, which should be enough for a pretty good living. But traditionally, Americans love a winner. And a winner to me is somebody who can laugh a little bit, who can enjoy this life, somebody who will join his friends, participate, and somebody who will give back a little something whenever they can. And God, it's a great pleasure to be here in a room filled with winners. God, how I love you. That is all. You are now dismissed. Thank you very much.
How did I ever let you talk me into babysitting these kids?
Maybe if we feed them, they'll be quiet.
We don't have any food, and we can't afford to take them out to eat.
Ollie, I'm ready to order now.
Fine, but make sure you tell them you're under 10.
Ollie, could we cook some fish tonight?
How can we cook fish when we haven't caught any?
Maybe we could buy some.
If we could afford that, we wouldn't be out here fishing. Sit down.
That was a great meal, Ollie. Say, you missed a spot. Ollie, if you don't hurry, I'll miss my plane.
Well, I'm doing the best I can in this terrible rain.
Would a new set of Vanco wiper blades help?
Certainly. Put them on.
Change to Anco. They clean better than any other blade. Tests prove it.
There, now I can see an airplane. Airplane! Oh!
Don't worry, Ollie. It wasn't mine. That's mine.
Oh! The joke's going to be on her.
What do you mean?
Well, it's my wife's birthday, and she thought I forgot to bring her a gift.
That's going to be one on her, won't it?
It certainly is.
What is it?
It's a broken watch.
She'll never guess.
Oh!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, give a warm Sun City welcome to Jim MacGeorge.
Feel good. I just read a survey to help women determine the best quality to look for in a man. It's important to find a man who likes to cook, do housework, and has a steady job. A man who has a sense of humor, make you smile. A man who is trustworthy and won't lie. And a man who likes to further the romance of life. And it's very important that these four people never meet each other. And I'll tell you, it's something. We were in the mall, it was so crowded, these two guys bumped into each other, and he said, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. I was looking for my wife. I lost my wife in the crowd. He said, I lost my wife too. I said, really? What does your wife look like? She said, very pretty, dark eyes, long dark hair, little turned up nose, kind of a sexy smile. What's your wife look like? He said, to hell with her, let's both look for you. My girlfriend's a shopper, and And I play golf. I still play. I shot my age 3 weeks ago. That's pretty good. And, you know, I play with the same group every Tuesday. And there's a little older group. You have to have a PSA of 5 or more just to get in. One of the guys is driving on the freeway, gets a call from his wife on the cell phone, and she said, I heard there's a car going the wrong way on the freeway. Be careful. He said, not just one. And a friend of mine is going to play a golf tournament in Mallorca. I said, you got to be excited. He said, no, not really. I don't speak Spanish. I said, well, if you speak English very slowly, it becomes Spanish. They will understand you. So he went into a pub and he said, bartender, I would like a martini. He said, 1 martini coming up. He said, where are you from? He said, I'm from Ireland. He said, so am I. He said, then why are we speaking Spanish? I toured Florida with the Army's Army. Every show we did a tribute to Henry Young because he was such a great guy. And the guy walked in the doctor's office, said, I broke my arm in 4 places. The doctor said, don't go to those places. I walked in the doctor's office, said, my back hurts. He said, stand in front of that window, take off all your clothes, and stick out your tongue. He said, my back hurts. He said, I know, but I hate my neighbor. I told a little boy about the birds and the bees. He told me about my wife and the busher. I walked in the doctor's office and said, something's wrong with my bladder. I can't control myself. What should I do? And the doctor said, get off my rug. You know, as scientists have found a way to slow down the speed of light. They take a beam of light and aim it through a post office. Wait a minute. You gotta start off each day with this song. Now even when things go wrong, I'm walking down the street, Mrs. Gotbox is walking toward me, her nose in the air. I put my nose in the air. You ever get your schnoz caught in an awning? I Trixie Latour, yeah, knew her well. I didn't know she had a glass eye until she sneezed. The eye flew out across the room. I happened to catch it. I gave it back to her. She said, can I buy a martini? I said, you do that for everybody. She said, no, you caught my eye. And Groucho was a wonderful guy. He said, you know, the fella passed away and he went directly to heaven. And that night he's having dinner with God. And they're having some celery and some tomato juice. They can see down below where the fire is, and they're having Chateaubriand and wild duck. They're burning, but they're eating well. And he said, how come they're eating so well and all we have is some celery and some tomato juice? God said, it just doesn't pay to cook for 2 people.
Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide an extra $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Charlene Crotty and James MacGeorge, eh? Right. You're a nice-looking young couple. James MacGeorge, where are you from, James?
Seattle, Washington, Groucho.
Seattle? I thought you were from Scotland. You're not married, huh?
No, I'm not.
Why not? You're bright, nice-looking, prosperous-looking, and do you want to get married?
Well, I think the individual security and destinations of a person should be taken care of before they take on the added responsibility of marriage.
Do you know that it's 30 miles from Okmulgee to Mustard?
Hey, Harry, would you run that commercial I did for Honda automobiles in 1962? Yeah, I introduced them to the United States, yeah. 50 years ago, God, I can't believe it. You know, you're going to find out that I haven't changed all that much, you know.
How to prepare your town for the new Honda sedan. First, drive down to Main Street. Since the Honda needs very little parking space, you can make more spaces for parking there. And the Honda gets up to 40 miles a gallon. So economy-sized gas pumps are another good idea. Change your 2-lane streets into 3-lane streets, because Hondas don't need much space on the road. A couple of more basic adjustments, and you'll have a perfect town for Honda. Honda, the new little car that's already perfect for your town.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jim MacGeorge as Stan Laurel and Chuck McCann as Oliver Hardy.
Good evening. Well, I certainly am excited.
About what?
About what? About being here. Now listen, you read the nominations and I'll announce the winner.
Okay.
Okay.
The nominees for Best Achievement in live-action short films are Graffiti, Diana Costello, producer. Molly's Pilgrim, Jeff Brown and Chris Peltzer, producers. Rainbow War, Bob Rogers, producer.
And the winner is...
Molly's Pilgrim, Jeff Brown and Chris Peltzer, producers.
Ribs and Bones brand dog snacks from Purina. Let your dog decide.
Well, there are 8 seconds left on the clock. The Bulls are trailing 6-3, and Michaels has just taken his last timeout.
Not again. I got a plane to catch.
I'd like to remind viewers that immediately following today's game, we're showing that movie classic, Fury, the story of a boy and the horse who loves him. Well, I'm going to be watching that one. How about you, Pearlie?
I wish it was on now.
While we have a minute here, why don't we take a look at that last play by Michaels?
Why dredge up the past?
Here it is now. You want to tell the fans what's happening on this instant replay?
Okay, you can see on your picture, Michaels takes the step, steps back, and is tackled.
Oh, thanks, Pearlie. Always a fine job up here in the booth. Let's take another look at that play in slow-mo. Oh, wait a minute. They're ready now. The Bulls are up over the ball. What do you think Michaels might have called here, Pearlie?
It's tough to say, Mel.
Okay. Michaels drops back. He's being rushed. He steps out of the pocket. Now he throws a long pass, but... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Killer's got it. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. A touchdown. Look at those fans down there. They're going crazy. They can't believe it. I can't believe it. The Bulls have just won their first game. And a great last-second catch by Shea Killer around that Curly. I'm going to tell you fans, there'll be no rest in jubilation in that great Bull locker room today.
Our next performer, he starred on Broadway with Anthony Newley, playing Stan Laurel in the hit musical Chaplin to wonderful reviews. He continued his Stan Laurel success with a Clio-winning 13-year series of commercials. You've heard his voice on everything from Time for Beanie to the Smurfs. Ladies and gentlemen, this outrageously gifted man, Jim MacGeorge.
I feel good. I had a physical on Tuesday. The doctor said I can do anything I want, but it better be this week. guy hits a golf ball down in the woods over 4 trees in front of me, tried to sneak it through. Hit a tree, came back, hit him in the forehead. He went to the pearly gates. St. Peter said, "How did you get here, my son?" He said, "In 2." I feel good. You know, last Thursday I wasn't doing anything. I was home. Knock at the door. I opened. He said, "I'm a Jehovah's Witness." I said, "Well, come on in. Sit down. Can I get you lemonade? What can I do for you?" He said, "I don't know. I never got this far before." I was doing the Thunderbird 50th wedding anniversary, the 50th of the Thunderbird Country Club in Palm Springs, and when in the men's locker room, there was a cell phone on the bench. And a guy picked it up, it rang, he picked it up, and he said, "Hello, honey. Yeah, you're at the mall? Yeah. You found a coat you like? How much? 25,000? If you really like it, go ahead and get it, yeah. I think you went by the Mercedes-Benz dealer? 80,000? Well, make sure you get all the options. Yeah. Listen, I gotta go because the real estate man showed you the waterfront property, $2,400,000. Offer him $2 million, not a penny more. Yeah, goodbye. Whose cell phone is this? You know, driving down here, I took a wrong turn and I got lost, and I stopped by a little gas station. The guy's rocking in a rocking chair. I said, "Excuse me, can you tell me the quickest way to Seal Beach?" He said, "Well, are you walking or are you driving?" I said, "I'm driving." He said, "That's the quickest." And then we went to park, and the guy in front of me stops dead. I banged into the back of him. A dwarf got out, came back, and said, "I am not happy." I said, "Really? Which one are you?" This guy was he was watching a golf tournament on television, and he kept flipping over to the porno station. And he said, "I don't know which one to watch." And the wife yells from the kitchen, "Watch the porno station. You already know how to play golf." Everything is a computer today, isn't it? Kind of, the little boy says to his father, "Daddy, how was I born?" He says, "Son, one day you'll find out anyway. I met your mother in a chat room on Yahoo, made a date to meet her in a cyber cafe. We found a secluded room. She had her soft drive. She agreed to download on my hard drive. When I was ready to upload, I realized neither one of us had built a firewall. 9 months later, a sign popped up and said, 'You've got mail.'" My neighbor is a nice fella. He's older. When God said, "Let there be light," he hit the switch. And he's a nice fella, and he still plays golf. But he doesn't take a cart because where he hits it, it's cheaper to take public transportation. Anyway, he had a physical. And the next day, he's walking down the street with a young blonde on his arm, and he sees his doctor. He says, "I'm doing like you told me, Doc. I got a hot mama, and I'm cheerful." He said, "No, I said you had a heart murmur. Be careful." Education, we have to learn. We're all here to learn. They were showing a freshman class to the USC campus. They said, "Over there's a woman's dorm. If you're caught in there, it's a $40 fine. Second time you're caught in there, it's a $100 fine. Any questions?" He said, "What do you charge for a season pass?" I have a new lady friend, and we've adopted this song. And I love you so. The people ask me how I've lived till now. I tell them I don't know. I guess they understand how lonely life has been. But life began again the day you took my hand. She's a great gal, and we have a lot of fun together. But she's a shopper. She likes to shop. She knows all the stores, all the bargains. We passed the YMCA the other day, and she looked up and said, "Look, they spelled Macy's wrong." When I tell her to cut back on the spending, she gets upset. When she gets upset, she nags me. She gets more upset, she gives me the silent treatment. But I think it's worth the added effort. You know, Jimmy Stewart loved golf when he was there. He said, you know, I'm using a new high-tech golf ball now, and if it gets within 6 inches of the cup, it automatically jumps in the hole. But don't carry it in your back pocket. I was talking to my neighbor. Now, relationships are difficult today. We all know that things are going so fast. And I said, Al, how's it going? He said, I don't know, I think I'm going to get a divorce. I said, why? He said, my wife hasn't spoken to me in 2 months. Well, think it over carefully. Those kind of women are hard to find. And he said to her, would you have believed in your wildest dreams that I would be the man? She said, in my wildest dreams, your name never even came up. And they're in bed watching television. Suddenly she feels a hand on her thigh, goes up her arm, around her shoulder, down her back, and it stops. She said, why did you stop? He said, I found the remote. He doesn't understand romance. He doesn't understand the vast difference, emotional difference between men and women. He forgot his wife's birthday and a present. She got mad. She said, tomorrow morning when I look on that driveway, I want to see something that goes from 0 to 200 in 2 seconds. Next day she looked out there, it was a bathroom scale. Isn't that terrible? And I tell you something, sometimes even when you try to help somebody, it backfires. A lady got on the bus with a little tiny baby, and the bus driver looked over and said, God, that's the ugliest looking kid I've ever seen in my life. And she went to the back of the bus, and the tears were falling. And the gentleman was there and said, what happened? She said, the bus driver insulted me. He said, report him. Do you have his number? She said, no. He said, you go up and get his number and I'll hold your monkey. Isn't it sad? I mean, there was an older couple that visited the fair, and he looked over and said, helicopter ride's $50. He said, Martha, I sure would like to go up that there helicopter. He said, Bert, $50 is $50. And the pilot overheard him and said, if you don't make any noise at all, the ride is free. She said, come on, Martha, let's go. So they flew all around in this helicopter, and it landed, and the pilot walked over to the guy and said, I got to compliment you. You did not say one word. He said, I know that. I was going to say something when Martha fell out. $50 is $50. We had a home invasion, and the guy was in stealing the money and the jewelry, and the couple come home early. And he said, now you caught me, I'm going to have to hurt you. What's your name? She said, Elizabeth. Elizabeth? That's my mother's name. I can't hurt you. What's your name? He said, Fred, but everyone calls me Elizabeth. And the Japanese built a new train to break the land speed record, 285 miles an hour, 385 miles an hour. The old record was held by Amtrak, but Amtrak was going off a big cliff at the time, so it's not really that. And Mr. Nakashima was going home from work in Tokyo, and he stops by the steam room. He said, oh, steam, very good for you, steam open door, make you very healthy. And his friend, Mr. Katamori, entered. He said, konbanwa, Mr. Katamori. He said, konbanwa, Mr. Nakashima. He said, Hikaga desu ka? He said, genki desu. He said, umare doko desu ka? He said, umare Tokyo desu. Mr. Nakashima, I hear a rumor about your wife. Oh, she have an affair with a Jewish man. No, I go home. Miyoki-san, you have an affair with a Jewish man. She said, lie! What schmuck told you that? I was with Willie Nelson up in Reno, and Willie walked out on that stage and he said, maybe I didn't hold you all those lonely, lonely times. And I guess I never told you I'm so happy that you're mine. You know, that song reminds me of only one person, Cleo. You don't know her. She was an exotic dancer on Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah, and I remember the night I met her, started to drizzle. She said, you want to go to my place for a drink? I said, sure. Do you have cable? She said, no, but I got a couple of old ropes at my place. And her bedroom was filled with stuffed animals. On the top shelf were the elephants, on the second shelf were the leopards. On the bottom shelf was a little stuffed cricket and a little chipmunk. And one thing led to another, and we had a little romantic interlude. And I said, how was I? She said, you can take anything on the bottom shelf. I have to tell you this before. I was in Chicago 2 weeks ago, and we did a show for the heads of the McDonald's restaurant chain, and I told this joke in Chicago. The three bears aren't living together any longer. They got a big argument, and the judge is talking to Baby Bear and said, you will live with your mother. She said, no, my mother beats me. Then you'll live with your father. She said, no, my father beats me worse. Do you have a relative that will take you in? She said, I have an aunt in Chicago. Does she beat you? No, no, the Chicago Bears don't beat anybody. And my heart has always leaned toward the comedians because with their material, they lift our spirits. And then I lift their material. And Bob Hope, I worked with him a couple times. And he always wore a hat like this when he entertained the troops overseas, you know. Hey, thanks for the memories of candlelight and wine, passage on the line. How about this, huh? Is this gorgeous or what? You know, Dolores couldn't be here. She had a church function. She's Catholic. I know she's Catholic because I drove the car up in front of the church and they auctioned it off. And I just ran into one of my good friends and he said, Sunday's his 50th wedding anniversary. I said, God, 50 years? What are you going to do? He said, I don't know. On my 25th, I took my wife to Anchorage. Maybe I'll go and pick her up. And I'll tell you what turns me on is those gals that dress up in leather, you know? You got right next to them, they smell like a new golf bag. God, I love that. And I found a place where the young girls are attracted to me in the library under fiction. You know, but I'll tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, you get a few laughs and a little love every day, and you're way ahead of the world. Thank you very much. Stan Laurel was a good friend of mine. I did those commercials for 16 years, the Anco windshield, and 5 years or 7 years for Sizzler. And we would visit and talk about comedy out at his apartment. I said, where'd you get the derbies? He said, well, it was just a thing to do at that time. And this is my tribute to Mr. Laurel. You know, Ollie and I, we made 106 pictures together. And he was a very funny fella. You know, I could stand in the back of the theater and laugh at our films because I'm watching Ollie. And when I'm working with him, I don't know what he's doing. Hey, Stan, excuse me. What is it, Ollie? Stan, I see where your friend, who was the editor of the crossword puzzle section for the Times, passed away. I know, I went to the funeral. Where did they bury him?
6 down and 3 across. Did you ever finish that puzzle I sent you? I sure did, Ollie. And it only took me 3 months. Well, isn't that a long time? Well, on the box it says 4 to 6 years. He said, if I weren't your friend, I would walk right out of here. He said, Ollie, what is it? Thanks for being my friend. And I think that's why we're all here tonight, to say hello to a few friends we haven't seen and to make a few new friends if we can. Someone said that a friend is a quiet angel who will lift you to your feet when your wings have forgotten how to fly. And we're also here to make this a great day. As my friend, the late Coach John Wooden said, make each day a masterpiece. And some say one day is pretty much like another. I think there are special days. It's special to be here with you. It's special to have Scott with me. They were interviewing Jack Nicklaus, and they said, your name will always be synonymous with golf, and you really knew your way around a golf course. What's the secret? And he said, the holes are numbered. I leave you with 2 guidelines that help me. 1, tiny little baby steps all add up when you're learning something new, and we're all learning every day. Number 2, the cavalry is not coming. So you take it upon yourselves and make it a great day. Don't judge yourself, others. Have a few cheers, a lot of laughs, a bundle of love. Eat your turnips, and I thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you. Thank you, you're wonderful. Thank you.